All right, when you're creating a course, you got to set up a very short deadline. As a rule of thumb, if you set a deadline more than 2 to 4 weeks, you're doing something awfully, awfully wrong. Now, did I make that mistake? Yeah, I did. So I'm speaking from experience from my own mistakes. In the early days, I had strong temptation to create a perfect course from the very beginning. So I would spend so much time, and then I spend so much time editing the videos, making them look good, editing the audios, making it look more professional because I didn't want people to judge me and judge my English. And whenever I say too many things that are unnecessary, blah, 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 right? There are all these fears that I have. So, there are times where I really did spend way more time than I should have on creating a course. But every single one of those times, I look back and I regret. Why do I regret it? Well, it's because a lot of the times I would create what I think is a perfect course, and I try it in the real classroom and it doesn't work. Like these concepts that I thought were really easy, it's not easy. It was easy for me, but it wasn't easy for the students. So then I have to invent, new ways to teach or new assignments, right? A lot of times assignment plays such a critical role in the students, yet, a lot of times the instructors focus too much on concepts, not assignments. So anyway, there's that, just so many different reasons. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is just set up a very short deadline, usually 2 weeks or 4 weeks from now. 4 weeks if you don't know that topic and you need to learn it, then 4 weeks might be good enough time. If you already know that topic, 2 weeks is more than enough time to create a course. Sometimes you may not even have time to create a course, so you just create a course outline, which will be explained a little bit later. And you can try that to get feedback on the concepts and things like that. But anyway, create a very short deadline. And you never want to spend months creating a course for imaginary students. You don't. A lot of the times those courses never get done. Just like in engineering, it's very similar too, right? Waterfall approach. What percentage of waterfall projects actually get completed? Very, very small, right? What's the agile way of building software? In small increments, in sprints, right? Curriculum is exactly the same way. You don't want to do the waterfall approach and say, I'll see you again in 5 months after I create a course, Michael. That's a waterfall approach. You will never make it. Even if you create a waterfall approach, that product may be useless by the time you launch, or you may find that your product actually sucks and couldn't you have really discovered that a lot earlier than you wasting 5 months having to throw away your project? Same thing with curriculum. Set up a very short deadline. Your job is not to create a perfect course on your first attempt. It's just not possible. Create the best course that you can, given that you have 2 weeks. And what I like to do is I just like to schedule live class. So let's say I know a topic. I'm like, okay, I just go to Facebook or I go to my audience and say, hey, I'm going to teach a free class. This is what I'm going to teach. Who's interested? I sign people up, and it could be 3 people. It could be 5 people. I think I usually need at least 3 to 5 people to get, valuable feedback. Sometimes it may be 30 people. I don't care. Teaching, if you do teaching the way that I describe, you can have 30, 100 people take the course, and it's sometimes going to be easier to teach a large class than a small class. We'll cover that a little bit later and you will understand more. But anyway, I just organize a live class, and then knowing that I really have real students who are going to go through the course, that really sets a nice tone for me to create a course. And now when I create a course, I'm not thinking imaginary people I never met that I have to be in front of camera and talk. I have real people in 2 weeks that are going to go through the course, or next week or a few days that are going to take the course. So when I create the course, because I know some of these people, I can have more empathy and I can create these courses more out of love and care instead of fear. So setting up that short deadline is really important. And you could, in a first live class, say, hey, look, this is the first course I've created. I'm going to have you go through the course through the platform. So the teaching is going to be done through the platform. I'm not going to do live lectures. Or you may say, do you know what? On these 3 concepts, or the first week, it's going to be teaching by the platform, but the second week, I don't have the course created yet. So I'm going to do live lectures. And that's fine too, because then you can, learn how to teach things more effectively and then later put into the course. So that the next iteration of live class, then you say, oh, it's a 2-week course. All the teachings are done through the platform, but we're still going to meet on a daily basis or every 2 days to where I can see if you're really understanding concepts. So we'll have quizzes. I'll ask you questions. I want you to present what you have done so that you're held accountable, and I make sure that you're learning and growing, blah, blah, blah. That's the way that you should, go. That's the effective teaching, not live lectures. Let me teach you this. We can teach way more effectively through the platform than teaching live. Because almost always, after you give a 1-hour lecture, don't you almost always look back and say, oh yeah, what I taught that in 1 hour, I probably could have really concisely taught in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That's why always teaching by the platform is way more effective than teaching through live lectures. Now, live classes are still helpful because you can do live classes and use that as a function to hold people accountable, build relationship with the students, find out what the learning gaps are, find out, better ways to teach, find out better ways to, lay out the assignment landscape and get immediate reaction and see how it is working. Change the assignment landscape, see how it's working, right? So that's where you're getting real data. So the live class should be used as a way to generate and gather data, not to teach, okay? Very common mistakes made by, I think, teachers where in this, age, I don't think teaching should be done through live lectures. That should be done only when the instructor is not prepared yet to teach the concept through the platform. Okay, very effectively. Okay, so I may have stated more things about the short deadline, so make sure you read all the text below the video.